Coming to you live from World of Final Fantasy. This is Jonic from ShoutParty. Hello guys. Now, I decided this is pretty much going to be a trade-off with me and Clyde, who decided that we were going to review do the opposite. Clyde was going to review a handheld type game, while I was going to review a console type game. Now, I decided to try and review the Final Fantasy that kind of had the least popularity, since it wasn't exactly released on the NES outside Japan. A DS version remake was made though, and I will be going over the differences between this version and the DS version. Right, now let's start. Jonic. You probably know where this is all going anyway. It says 4 boys, but fuck it. In the remake we got 1 female, so I'm going by that. Ouch! We fell into a pit. Shucks. Now in the remake it would just be the main character, who's defaulted as Luna in the remake. Now, if you've played Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the NES, you can see a huge difference. I missed. Ow. One notable one is being... well, I'm not sure if Final Fantasy 2 had this. Not sure if Final Fantasy 2 had that, but when you kill an enemy, it moves over to the next one, unlike the first game, where it will just waste the attack. Found a potion. Found an enemy. This Final Fantasy was kind of the obscured one, in all honesty. So, there's not much to say about it. The storyline is kind of generic, and so are some of the villains, except the final boss. Hang on, where's this? Found the lever. Huh? What's the matter? That rock looks a bit odd, now that you mention it. But there is some things this game has over the others, kinda. It has a job switch system, like say Final Fantasy V, but it kind of handles it a bit differently. I mean, you can change all your jobs, all that, but in the NES version you have to use something called capacity to change, and in the DS version you can change with no cost, but your character will be weaker for a few battles to be able to handle the new job they've been given. Unless there's an item to do that. The NES version is pretty much more better, but if you're nostalgic, you can use this one. You can play this one. It is fan translated though, since it was never actually released outside Japan. Now, if you're wondering what Clyde's reviewing, I can't tell you that. You're gonna have to wait till he feels it on his own. Now, like most NES games and Final Fantasy games in the old times, these games were kind of difficult. Then again, Final Fantasy 13 more recent titles have still got that difficulty in them, in their control, in their fast gameplay. Or drink. Yes, you recover health from springs, which kind of makes inns obsolete, even though inns are in this game. Who am I to nitpick? There's some places where there's no inns and some places where there's no springs. Going through this door. Wind crystal. Finally. Something evil attack. Well, that's definitive, isn't it? And this is the first boss. An oversized turtle. These south winds make quick work of it. Oh jeez, Shade took a sharp one from there. Okay. I didn't equip those leather shields, did I? Oh well. This is only a review, it's not going to be a let's play unless you want it to be one. I'll probably negotiate with the others if you guys do want it to be a full let's play. How can a crystal speak? I ask you. They don't really make much sense in this game, but then again, they never really made much sense in many games of the NES era. Now, graphically, at its time, it was an improvement from the past few games. But, yeah, there's the version. Again, it was kind of obscured for some of its story and characters, and especially because it was never released outside Japan. That's another reason why I can find it hard to kind of recommend this game. It's got nothing on 4, which is probably arguably one of the best ones compared to 6. And before you call me out on 7 being the best, in my opinion 7 was pretty much... 7 wasn't the worst, and it certainly wasn't the best. I have to agree with and proud to say 4 or 6 were better. But 7 actually does deserve its place on the series, and I do agree it is a good game, but it's not terrible and it's definitely not the best. as much as I like it. I believe one reason it was never released out of Japan was these pentagrams. That's kind of a huge editing thing in Japan. Oh yeah. That's one thing I don't like about this version. You need to remove all your equipment before you change jobs. Something they handle better in the 3DS. Why do I say 3DS when I mean DS? Well, in the remake, they handle it a bit better, with a cost of the character needing to fit into their place a bit more. Pretty much the setup I would go for on this. You can have a black mage if you want, but yeah. But if you want to try this game out, you can download it pretty easily. It's pretty much easy to find all over the internet. I forgot to upload my weapon. Oh well. On the note of this battle, this is Jonic from ShoutParty. Adios.